Hey, welcome to another episode of
Discovering Our Journey.
I'm your host, JayCee.
And I'm MC.
And we just had the Labor Day weekend passed by.
Oh,
Oh,
it was
man.
pretty crazy because I had 4 jobs scheduled for Labor Day weekend and everyone canceled because they
Oh,
realized.
that's nice.
Exactly, yeah. Well, it was.
So diving into the weekend,
Yeah,
for that Friday,
yeah.
so then you had a nice weekend.
Yeah, I had a nice weekend, but I was like getting ready on the weekend for Monday.
Yeah.
And I was like, then I had an extra day. So I was like, all right.
Hey, that's always good to hear.
Yeah.
It's the perfect time to get it done, too.
And on Monday, Labor Day actual, I've been on a health journey also. And finally broke one of my goals for my health journey.
So what was that?
So it was under 300. So I've been struggling trying to get under 3. Finally got under 300, 296.
Hey.
And so I'm going back in that direction. I'm really pushing it. So I even did a double workout that day because I was like, you know what? Hey, I got no jobs. I said, so Monday, hit a double workout. And it's going really good. It's going really good.
Good. Glad to hear that. On mine, it was challenging. I'm not gonna lie. That little girl who always needed the family's confirmation. I saw a little peek of her, just a little bit, and I struggled with that growing up. Making sure like my mom and dad always saw, like I always did what they wanted. I wanted to be a good kid. I was like the third kid in line. So I think that's our role. And then we feel like unseen because we expect more than accept, I believe.
Yeah.
And you're the older one, so I don't think you'll ever see like my perspective on that, right?
Yeah, I feel like, hey, I know it's a good and bad because I mean, I got to set the bar, but then I'm like, dang, I didn't set it high enough, and I got to reach myself sometimes and realize it. So it's a lot of pressure on the older one, right? Because it's like I got the more years, so I got to show everyone like, okay, I know what I'm doing. So it's a big bar to set,
It is.
And if I don't do good, then they can be like, well, you didn't teach me. I didn't see you do that, or I had one of my brothers one time. He's like, dropped out of school, and I'm like, dude, what are you doing? He's like, you dropped out of school. I'm like, okay, at least I dropped out of school because I got a job and I got a car, and that's why I dropped out of school. All right, so. Why are you dropping out of school? So, but
what was his reasoning? Why was he dropping out?
He just wanted to work. But the thing is that actually I take it back. He said he wanted to work, but he really wasn't looking for a job.
Yeah,
so that's the problem.
Yeah.
He says he wanted to work, but so I was like, well, you can't be like throwing that back at me. But see, that's what happens, right? It's like, well, you dropped out of school. It's like,
you did it.
You did it.
Show them what you want to show them.
Yeah, but then I did tell him, but look what happened. I lost my job.
Yeah.
So I got my car repoed. So I went back to school and even pushed even harder and got my GD +3, and that and got my recognitions from the what is it, city mayor or whatever. So it's like, it was hey, I busted my butt.
I got you.
So,
and it's sad too. Like now I see my grandma has been gone for a very long time. Speaking of that, we always want to give our kids what we don't ever have. And I'm doing a lot of reflecting on that. And I can see how, my grandma was seen in a different way than I saw her, right? By her daughters, she was viewed in a different way. I saw her in a different way. My cousins all saw her. And that's just how close we were to her, depending on how close we were to her as an individual. We got a little more or less. I started to realize though that she had a lot of when we pass, we have a lot of like things that we just will never do. We're never gonna do them. Now, I know it sounds morbid to say that, but I only say that because challenges happened during the Labor Day. Challenges happened because having a big family, we always have to talk to each other and we have to get around things and we have to grow and become better, right? We have the potential to become better. But a lot of us, I don't know if like our past is like our big haunter. Like, oh, well, that's the way they were. So like, that's always going to be your family's responses. You know how they are. And it's like, no, I knew how I was, but now we got to change it up a little bit, right? I mean,
Yeah.
I changed it up a lot, where I don't have to defend myself so much. It is what it is. Like I have made my peace. I want to people please in another way where I want to serve where I can. I
But
want to give what I can.
do you feel though that you kind of being like your own self in a sense of where it's like, I mean, it's good to be, like you said, part of something, the family and everything, but do you feel that you being more of yourself kind of separated you a little bit, or did they push away?
I think what separated us was the opinions. I didn't let the opinions matter anymore.
Yeah.
And I think that's what hurts because when someone doesn't, when you don't allow someone to control you, they'll control someone else. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Hey, and you know what they
so
say about it?
bad.
You know what they say about opinions? It's like everyone's got one.
Everyone's got one.
Everyone's got one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's crazy though, because like, so we grew up all the same. And the only real opinion the only really thing that I took out of everything that my family taught me was to believe in God
Yeah.
with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your strength. And so, I mean, because like I said, I was always looking for their approval. Like I went searching for God I was too little to be religious. So I did it with my heart, with faith. And I really believe that the Holy Spirit started there in my heart. It was a long journey, but I've mentioned before that I was a little bit of a late bloomer. And so I had to be told things repetitiously because I was a little bit lazy. I needed a little bit more push. And I was just a little da-da-da. and and people would say negative things to me just out of frustration. But as I got older, I didn't let that penetrate, because then I started to think to myself in a clever way, well, yeah, I'm dumb because I'm a student and students are always learning, so I'm dumb. Luckily, I had my grandma tell me that, you're never stupid. She was speaking love into me, she was speaking life into me and others. It wasn't just my grandma, it was other adults. Even my mom said, that's not true. That's not true. And it's crazy how when we get old, we do let opinions hurt us. You don't think so?
Well, I think that when we get older,
Older.
we opinions, because we start trying to evolve ourselves,
Yeah.
right? We start
Yeah.
trying to evolve ourselves and be like, go. Maybe you're going to the gym, maybe you're studying,
Yeah.
maybe you're working, you're doing stuff, and you're trying to find yourself, right? So those opinions, you're open because you're trying to absorb what you hear and what you see to try to
Yes.
make yourself like, oh man, you're looking good. Oh, keep working out.
Yeah.
Oh wow, I see that you're driving a new car. It's like, yeah, work more than. It's like, so opinions can help us in certain ways when they see certain things, but when it comes to those negative opinions, yeah, it starts to be a little bit of a weight on top of you because you're trying to just grab the good ones, but when you open yourself up like that, you take the goods and the bads and you got to carry them.
Absolutely. I used to really like the whole knowledge is power quote until I started to check up the history. And I don't think knowledge is power. I think you can learn the wrong thing. And some people are experts at error. We were looking back, my husband and I, we got interested in the World War II.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't agree with the whole Hitler thing. Did you ever see his thing?
No, but
He was doing things in his own way, right? Thinking he was right about, the way he thought. Another one was the Christian Crusades, who were then killing Christians to force them to get into the understanding of faith.
yeah.
There's a lot of people who are learning things, getting knowledge, but in error. And I think we need to really gauge what we're putting our knowledge on.
Yeah, yeah, of course. But see, I really feel that it's not so much as knowledge as it is so much as like these people, believe it or not, had a great mind.
Yeah.
And with a great mind comes a great burden, which is what you're going to do with that mind. So those people, I mean, they're super smart.
Yeah.
They're super smart. I mean, if you look at all the world's, you could say, not good people, Saddam Hussein and Stalin and just everyone who's been, if you look at them, they are very smart, very, very smart people,
yeah.
but they just decided to use their wisdom, you should say wisdom, knowledge in a very negative way,
Yeah.
in a very negative way. So knowledge is power, but it's about which way you shift that power. When you try to take it for yourself is when that is a problem. But when you try to share it with others and you try to make things better, not suppress things, that's when we see the good results.
Yeah, no, that's
Yeah.
true. You got to check and be careful with the knowledge, I think.
Because you said it in the beginning, knowledge is power, and it is.
Yeah.
But the thing is that how you use it is what makes a difference.
Yes, it is.
Is
That's
how you
true.
use it. Because
That's
look at
true.
all the knowledge that he had, all the knowledge that a lot of these guys had, and they decided to use it for something not good, to do genocide, to do everything, and it continues to this day. Dictatorship and other things that where it's like there's no winners in war.
So, but speaking all that, if we bring it back to full circle, it's all a matter of perception, right? And so we do have to be very careful with how we take others' behaviors on. I think, right? We've got to be a little bit more humble. You did ask me once, were you defending or were you explaining?
Yeah.
Right? There's a difference with that.
I feel like there's a difference. It's like sometimes you gotta, how can I say it? I think the defense situation is something that is basically like you're basically defending a fact of what happened, and explaining is more like making another person try to feel what you feel.
Yeah.
That's where what I've always what I've thought in my head. Because again, emotions are not really a defense. It's more of an explain.
So explaining is more emotional.
I think it's go more towards emotional.
Yeah.
Because if
Women do that a lot.
so if my wife is like, why are
Let
you
me
late?
show you something.
It's like my wife is like, why are you late? She doesn't want to know the facts. So I can't defend myself. I got to explain myself because it's like she wants to know the
Explain.
facts. I got to explain, because, right? It's like, does it really matter? I'm right here. But you know what? She wants to know why I was late, let's just
Yeah.
say.
So you're the play-by-play.
Yeah, but I try to
You can
just,
excuse yourself.
but I learned to defend myself in a positive way, which is, what? I didn't give myself enough time like I should have, and I ran into traffic.
Yeah.
So try not to explain because explain doesn't help either. And for a guy, sometimes guys explaining, that's like, ooh, guys don't like to explain.
Yeah.
Guys don't like to explain. So, but also we can't defend on a bad way either. So you learn to defend yourself. So it's like a mixture between a defense and an explain where it doesn't hurt the other person.
Yeah. Yeah, that's for sure. But out of what I could have taken from everything though, especially right now in this season, is be good with yourself because that's the only person that is going like this is my adventure. One thing I did notice is that I don't know if I mentioned it to you that I did a lot of schooling because I wanted to show others that I can do it. Yeah, it was successful in the moment of doing it, but at the end of the day, remember how I told you, like, I feel like a jack of all trades. I feel like a jack of all trades. And to be honest with you, at first, who was it that told me, oh, but that's a master of none? Which understandable, let me tell you, but you're only as good as your last thing that you've done. So if your last thing was your high school, that's pretty sad too, though. I can actually say, I've done this, I've done that, I've done that, I've done that. And I kept challenging myself to the better. And yeah, maybe I didn't grab it as my niche, but see, I know who I am. And I think God made me this way to where I am supposed to be a jack of all trades because I'm a connector. I'm supposed to understand things. Maybe you can't handle my jack of all trades, but I can handle it. And I'm starting to realize that because when I read the Bible in Psalms, it says that God made us fearfully and wonderfully. We were wonderfully and fearfully made. Dude, I'm a sculptor. And I know that when I'm on something perfect, like I am so scared to mess up what I know is beautiful and it's on point. So hearing that God was like, he knew I was going to have, a lopsided head. I don't know, maybe that would help me run faster. I don't know. He knew I was going to be slower because then I would maybe have more patience and understanding to teach others who were unraveling slowly in growth. The whole thing is that now I take all those criticisms that I used to hear and I start to think about, man, I was wonderfully made with so much intention. And that's what a lot of people don't realize about me. And I've noticed that about myself too, is that, yeah, I don't do things like you because I'm an original. I wish I could think like you, and I try to understand you, but I'm not you. I'm here on an adventure, and I can mess up my adventure by still killing or destroying you or anyone else around my area that can cause waves, you know? But if we can just love each other and motivate each other and not try to make our journey theirs, we would I think we would live a lot happier.
Definitely, definitely. I mean, I feel like, in your situation where the things that you've done, only you know the truth about behind it.
Yeah.
But the truth is, for a lot of people, is they do waste their time. They do go to do. I mean, in the field of telecommunications, there's a lot of people that go, or even mechanics. There's a lot of people who go to school to be a nurse, and they don't finish it. So it's like, oh, they want to be a nurse, a hairdresser, or this or that, and yeah, so they can say they're jack of all trades, but it's like, come on, they're not. They're not. You're not a kid. If you're a kid, like if you're young and you're a kid and you're doing these things, you want to go like play sports. All right, you know what? I have a goddaughter. I have a goddaughter that
Wait, hold on, hold on. Before your goddaughter story, you made a very important statement about if you're going to school and you don't finish it. Well, let's uncover that.
Yeah.
Were you growing up, went to high school, did you do what you wanted? Did you reach the potentials that you wanted to, or did you do what your parents wanted you to?
And that's kind of where I
Because
was
that's
going
what
to.
would make people just lose steam and be like, I'm in a prison,
Yeah.
because they're not built to be you. You might say that that branch is too far, but that person might say, dude, well, I was made to climb. And yeah, maybe you guys came from the same body, but you guys are not the same person. See, that's why when we have our people here and I have my friends who I talk to, now knowing the Bible, it says how much God made us, right? And with so much love. Okay. So I keep that in my mind. And when they're like, yeah, my parents, they were, this way and that way, they were alcoholics, they were like in gangs, whatever. Dude, that's still okay because you weren't aborted. They gave you the opportunity and you were given that chance to be part of this world and to start doing the things that you were meant to do. You have a purpose. They were just that opening for you. You cannot judge them on the things that they showed you that, again, we're talking about incorrect knowledge. I beat you because that's the way my family beat me. That's incorrect knowledge being handed over.
Yeah, but there's consequences to some of
There's
that
a
stuff.
balance.
There's consequences to things like that, opening the doors to allowing your kids to do whatever that you want, smoke, drink, whatever, underage. So you can't kind of, there's a little slippery slope there because it can, you know, the thing about it is, remember this one thing. Everyone always asks, God, why does things happen that are bad? Right? That's the question. God, why do things happen that
And
are
what
bad?
do you say?
And what I say is this, you
Es tu
know,
culpa.
it's, you know what, we ask for free will. We ask to
Yes.
make the decisions on our own.
Yes.
So that's why sometimes when, I've talked to other people, it's like, oh, I went to school, but you know what, I decided to go, instead of going to that school, now I went to this school, now I'm doing this. It's because God got a plan for me. Well, it's like, yeah, but does God really want you to change all these schools and be in debt and stuff like that? It's like, you got to think about it, is really how you got to figure it out. Because again, let's be honest with ourselves. And a lot of times when we're young, we're not honest with ourselves. I could tell you myself, I wasted a lot of years.
Yeah.
I was 27 years old when I figured out what I wanted to do with life. And it was, very difficult. I was like, dude, I'm 20, I'm about to be 30, because I didn't know what I was going to do in my life. I'm like, dude, I'm going to be 30 years old soon. I'm 25 years old. I don't know what the heck I'm doing. I just got
But
these
that's
meetings.
the adventure in
No,
life, right?
that is. But the thing is that there's a balance between, like, I can't be like that. You can't say that to a guy who, when do you stop saying that? When I'm 40? When I'm 50? When I'm, well, who gets to decide?
You missed the mark if you're that old.
Oh, what? Why? Who do you get to? How do you know that's not my journey?
What was your last what was your last thing that you completed that you said, yeah, I did
But
that?
the thing is, I just told you I was 27 and didn't really complete stuff. And I was trying to find myself. So that's what I'm saying. So who gets to decide if 40's too old or 30's too old or 25's too old?
Well, what are you doing with your time though?
Well, that's what I was talking about. We're wasting time when we're young. We're doing this, we're doing that.
Well,
And
even when we're older.
well, that's what I'm saying. And so it's like, it's on that slippery slope where no one could really say what's the oldest. But come on, if you really ask somebody about certain things, I wish someone would have challenged me a lot better because I'm a type of person that likes to get challenged. So when I get challenged, it's like, bam, I
You got to prove them wrong.
I can know I got to prove that I can do it.
Oh, you got to
I
prove that
feel
you
I
can
can
do
do it.
it.
Yes, I used to have that mentality.
Look at these muscles.
I used to have that mentality
I'm
though.
pumped up.
You're right, and you know what? That's what I'm saying. That's how you take life sometimes.
Yeah.
Look at the difference. So which one is it? They both can come out the same, but look at the difference.
Yeah.
I'm gonna prove them wrong, and that's a childish mentality. I'm sorry, it's a childish mentality.
Yeah.
Why? Because I was there.
Yeah.
Now I don't try to prove anybody wrong. I try to prove what I can do. And if I hear something that I know I can do, I prove that I can do it. Not prove
Absolutely.
anybody else wrong, even though you'll still get the same results sometimes with those two situations. But in the long run, proving yourself has a double benefit than trying to prove someone else wrong.
It's true. It's true. So, I mean, it's not easy to grow, and that's why we're here always offering processes, right? A big thing that hindered me again, and I will always say, is that you can't force people around you to grow just the same, and they're always going to remind you who you were and why you probably won't grow, and you have to give yourself space and grace.
Yeah.
And grace.
And the more you grow, I feel like the more you're aware of stuff too. And the more that you know, exhume like this sort of bit about you that people are like, what's up with you? Like, what's going on? Like,
That's right.
so it's
That's
more of a
right.
challenge. So when you start to grow, it's a lot tougher than you think. You think it's like, oh, I'm doing good, I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's like it's one of those things where, you're going to get a new job or a new promotion. Supposedly the jinx is, at least in Mexican cultures, is, don't tell nobody because, they're going to throw salt on you. That's what
Yeah.
they say, right?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Because it's a whole feeling of, oh man, that negativity is going to come. Like, I'm studying hard to pass this test, or I'm going to try to get this promotion. It's
Yeah.
like, really?
Yeah.
Are you really doing it? It's like, it's almost like a given. So they say, don't tell nobody because they're going to throw the salt on you. That's a Mexican thing. Right?
Yeah, no, but it's true. And why though? I think it's because we got big families and a lot of people talk. That's just why it is. And hey, there's a lot of different personality types,
Yeah.
There is. But just remember, like, keep telling yourself, because God does believe in you. And now that I'm a parent, I get it. Man, do I get it. I'm just like, dude, and I'm not comparing myself at all to God, but I can see where I'm just like, I tell my kids, dude, you're so handsome, you're so beautiful, like you can do it. Like, I believe in you, and the world is out there telling them, no, you can't. Who are you?
Now, you said something very strong here. Just remember, though, when you talk to them, it comes from a place of love.
Oh yeah,
So it doesn't always penetrate
yeah,
because
yeah.
because it's like your mom's supposed to say that. It's like, "Hey, look, mijo, estás cabezón, your big head. You got really bushy eyebrows and your arms are really hairy. But you know what? You're beautiful." It's like, so come on now.
That's
You
not
can't.
true.
I mean, what I'm saying is that unfortunately, and we always say this, right? It's like, "Hi, mijo." We try to tell our the boys or the girls, how beautiful they are. But the truth is that they take on what other people say because it's a raw perspective. And sometimes what we have to teach them is that they don't always understand what it is. So instead of trying to tell them, instead of trying to explain to them how beautiful they are and how they are, explain to them how the world sees things and is not ready for what he's got to offer or she's got to offer is more important than your words. Because trust me, words out of a mother's mouth or a father's mouth is just not the same. It's this compared to some stranger that's going to be like, damn, dude, what happened to your fro? Or what the heck? It's like, that's going to knock him down 10 pegs more than your little bit.
I guess. I forgot about that. Because now, like, I look at myself and I feel like I'm proud of myself. And it's not that I'm a narcissist or no one could knock me off my pedestal or anything, but like I feel the love of God so intense in my heart of who I am, that I'm okay with the insults. But
You value yourself.
of course I value myself.
But if at the beginning you couldn't value yourself because you're trying to find yourself still.
Yes.
And that's and that's what I'm saying.
Yes.
So when your kids are going out there and you're sending them out there and they don't understand, and words, something that we talked about, it kind of resonated from the other day, right? The other day we were talking about, sticks and stones will break my bones. Well, words will never hurt me. All right. You know what? And here's the thing. The truth is, the truth is, and here's a big question that I don't know. I literally just thought about this
Yeah.
today driving. I don't know why it hit me. I said, what is the truth? Is the truth that you give this person that much power
Yep.
to hurt you?
Yep.
Or is it that you just haven't worked on yourself enough to understand someone's negativity? Which one is it? Or is it a mixture of both? Do you get what I'm saying? Because yes, can words hurt you? Yes. Should they hurt you? No, they should not. I'm sorry, sticks and stones will break your bones, but words will never hurt you. If you don't give the person power and you work on yourself and understand who you are. That's the two things though that you have to not that has to happen. I mean, I don't know. What do you think?
I think you're onto something. I think you're onto something. But you know, it makes me wonder the groups because we have to be giving that person ammo. If you notice, the people who want to control the situation because they can't control you, they always run with the mob. And so you gotta really ask yourself, are you in that mob where you're backing up the wrong person? You know, because that's a big thing, and that's where God says that we need to check ourselves on that.
Well, God's always said, go ahead and throw the first stone. He has not, has sinned. It's like, because come on, guys, I like I've said in the podcast before. When I was in middle school, at first, I was a bully. I was like, hey, I got to be a bully and stuff like that. And I wasn't tall or nothing yet.
Was it to just protect yourself?
Yeah, it was to protect myself
Okay.
because of all the violence and mayhem that I would see. So I'm like trying to be a bully and stuff.
Yeah.
And then whatever happened, like literally like a year later in 8th grade, all of a sudden I got little chunky. I don't know what happened, and I was like the guy that got picked on. I was like the guy that got picked on, and I'm like, wow, this is horrible. I'm running around here. Yeah, it was horrible. And then in high school, I had my growth spurt, and I literally stretched out thin. Started football, freshman football, and I vowed myself I don't want to be either. I don't want to be bullied, and I don't want to bully nobody.
Yeah.
So I literally when I started high school, I'm like, I'm cool with everybody. I don't want to. I've already explored both sides of the coin, and you don't win, no matter which one.
No, you don't.
You don't win.
No. So, and that's a huge thing that I had to realize too. Being a people pleaser and needing to be part of the circle, I started to realize that their opinions stopped me a lot in, and it's not all bad, but it did. Like I remember a couple times I'd be like looking at this dress that I personally thought, oh my gosh, it's so cute, and then I put it on and they're like, oh no. And see, I wish I wouldn't have listened because oh no for them. Not for me.
Yeah.
And I had to just hush who I really was because I needed to fit in.
Yeah.
And so that's why I say, man, they will always make you more, they will never make you more than they are. So just if they're going like at a certain speed, know that you can go more.
And you said something so important right now about the dress. It's like for me, it was like for me, it was more of the, dang, I got these freaking Payless shoes and stuff like that. It's like, man, yeah, I got my Pro Wings on. The Pro Wings.
feet, dude.
So it's like, so it wasn't like, I'm over here trying to be like with Pro Wings and be like cool and stuff like that because I don't want to be made fun of. But I realized, like I said, when I got older and I was in high school, thought I was cool because I moved up to K-Swiss. And I was like,
That's a notch. That's a notch.
Yeah. And I can't forget my Cortezes, man. My first Cortezes. I was like, I was like, I'm the man. But you know what? The truth is that, it's not about what you wear. It's about how you represent yourself,
Right.
carry yourself. But when you're in high school, Jesus Christ, you just don't know. It's so hard out there. It is hard, and it is getting harder and harder
Yep.
with all this media and all this influence and all
Yeah.
this different stuff. It's like, man, back in the days, it was like certain cliques you group. Now it's like, man, I don't know. It's so difficult.
It is difficult, but we got to be strong and we got to be excited for the adventure. We don't want to stop ourselves. We're not anyone else. We're ourselves. And if you allow yourself to be the authentic person, you're going to see what a gem you are. And I mean, unlike anybody else, you're just that gem.
Yeah.
Oh, it's amazing. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
I get so fired up. One thing I do want to leave with is Ephesians. He says how we are predestined. We are predestined. Like, there's so many thoughts I had on my child. You know, I wanted him to pass elementary, then middle school, then high school, then I wanted him to go to college, but somewhere in between I started seeing him changing the plan. The purpose never changed, but the plan starts to change. You know, there's many times that people are like, well, I'm knocked up now, I can't do it anymore. And it's like, no, no, you just became a blessing in another way. God always uses everything that we do to our good. Even though we do the wrong things, we just got to trust ourselves. And we need to stop trying to be somebody else. We mess up, we take accountability, because that's what this is all about here, is where in your journey have you taken accountability to move up, and where's the transformation at? Because there has to be transformation.
That's my example I gave earlier. It's like I dropped out of school, 17 years old, and said I'm getting a job, I'm getting a car, and then lost my job, lost my car. So what I do, I said, okay, I'm gonna go back to school.
Yeah.
And I went and I tried harder than I've ever tried all those last 4 years of school. I tried really hard. I mean, I tried to do, because it wasn't like what. Also because I was a rebel, it's like I didn't do what, I. That's just me. It's like I never want to do what other people tell me to do.
Yeah.
But then when it was up to me, and I was like, I got to do this. I did it for myself.
Yeah.
And to learn to
Yeah.
do it for yourself, then for others is the important thing. We go back to the whole thing. Don't do it to prove them wrong, because sometimes they'll backfire on you. Do it to prove yourself that you can do it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So thank you so much for everyone tuning in today. This is for me. This was a deep in a way where I'm starting to really try to pinpoint things in me, because you're always going to be learning. I'm not perfect. I keep seeing little things that stick out to me and go, "Ooh, why did that hurt so much?" Something is still hurting there that I need to take it out from the root, because it's going to keep decaying.
Oh, we got to work just like we work on relationships. We got to work on ourselves all the time. And doesn't mean a pimple ain't going to come out here every once in a while. And it could be the same pimple, it could be a different pimple. But the thing is that stuff is always going to come out.
Yeah.
We always have to work ourselves. We always have to prepare ourselves.
That's
like I
right.
tell you, sometimes when I go into certain areas that I know, into certain family members or whatever, I prepare myself.
Yeah.
All right, you got to prepare yourself sometimes, right?
do.
It's almost like when you're gonna pass by a place that smells like you're out there in this farm country, and you're like, oh man, this is gonna smell, right? You prepare yourself, right? You're like, oh man, here it comes, and you pass by that cow field, and you're like, woo! All right, it's not as bad, but when it hits you, and you're like, oh dang, I wasn't ready, and you just start rolling up the. Hey, that just shows you how old I am, right?
I know,
Start
I
rolling
know,
up the
I know.
window. Dang it, I saw that.
Oh, you have the electric one,
Yes, I
right?
do.
Okay.
I do. But it was a TikTok thing too. I saw that the other day. Roll up the window, and they had like 4 people, and then some would go like this and some would go like this. I'm like, dang, that's me. I just went for it, right? Roll up the window. It's like, yeah, well, I remember. Anyways,
cute.
but
That's
you
cute.
but you prepare yourself. That's
Yeah.
the thing. We got to know how to prepare ourselves for what we're about to. Our friends, sometimes aren't ready for our change. Our family isn't ready for our advancements, but we have to be ready to be in front of them.
Yeah. Yeah. And how do you test that? Is always know, and if you don't take it the right way, right? You get defensive and stuff. You're human. We're all human. I got a little defensive, but I do believe I didn't back down in a rightful way. In
Sure.
a rightful way. And as long as I keep my cool and I am emotionally stable, I think that's what.
You said the key. Defensive, not angry.
Yes.
All right? You don't be angry. Don't let someone break you out of your mold.
Yeah.
Because remember, there's no growth.
Without pain. Until next time.
Next time, guys.
Boom.